In this video, I'm going to show you how to put together the ball state tutorial, and I've already gone ahead and made a document that is 800 by 600 pixels. It has 4 pages. The margins are 36 pixels, and there's 12 columns. And I'm just going to bring that into view. So the first thing that I want to do is put this background image on all the pages. And actually, I could paste it onto all these pages, but there's another method that I can use, and that is to use what's called master pages. So right here I have a view of my 4 pages, and up here there's a page called a master. If I double click on that, it doesn't look like anything happened over here, but I'm actually now looking at what's called the master page. The master page is going to allow us to put an item on every single page without having to copy and paste it. So I'm going to make a frame and bring in my background picture. I'm holding shift while I increase the size of this so that it doesn't stretch at all. And now you'll see, because I have this on my master page, it's now on pages 1 through 4. So when I click back on page 1, you'll see I'm back on page 1. I have my guidelines that I've created back. And now this is actually locked, so it's just another way of putting a background image in. The next thing that I want to do is create a white box that extends from this left column here to the right part of this column here. So I just made a frame. I'm going to fill it with white. I want this to be 80%. And actually, I'm going to zoom out a little bit because I missed the bottom. So this should extend all the way to the bottom. The next thing I'm going to do is give this a drop shadow. So while I'm clicked on it, I'm going to go to Object, Effects, Drop Shadow. I'm going to change it to normal, 30%, a distance of 5, and a size of 11. The reason we use drop shadows is to show layering and to show that something is in front of something else. So this white box having a drop shadow says to our eye that this white box is in front of the image and that it's kind of floating out in space in front of it, and therefore we assign it more importance. It becomes kind of heavier in our eye. We see it, we look at it more because it seems to be closer to us. So that's why you would use a drop shadow. The next thing we need to do is to come in and make a red box. And it's going to extend from the left margin to the right margin of this column guide. It's going to go from this second horizontal guide to the third horizontal guide. And I'm going to fill that with RGB red, and I'm going to give that a drop shadow as well. Now, it's really important when you use drop shadows that you give everything on the page that has a drop shadow the same kind of drop shadow. So this has to be exactly the same as the one we put on the white box. The next thing that I want to do is to draw a little triangle in the corner over here to give this button the effect of kind of wrapping around the white box. And the way I'm going to do that is by using my pen tool. Make sure that your pen tool is on this very first option and not on one of these other ones. And to use the pen tool, you're going to work, you're going to come back to the original and see how the cursor has a little circle next to it. It means that I'm closing the shape. I'm going to click and let go, and now I have a I'm actually going to click on RGB red and make it red, but I'm going to make a copy of that by clicking New Swatch. I'm going to double click on that and change this to 164, which is going to make it a darker red. Now I'm going to press Command 0 to zoom out and make sure that that triangle fits in there and looks nice. I'm going to press W to get rid of my guides, and it fits in there nice and snug, so it looks good. The next thing that I want to do is come in with my text box and write the word schedule. Now to get a lowercase n, and then give it the typeface wingdings, and it'll make a square. Let's change to Beavis. There we go, and we're going to call this schedule. I'm going to highlight it, and this needs to be 62 pixels. And it also needs to be white. So you'll want this to sort of sit in the middle of the button that you just made. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend this box across the entire button. I'm going to hold Control, which is a right click on a Mac, and I'm going to go to Text Frame Options, And I'm going to give this a vertical justification of center. And that's going to center that text in that box. Okay, now I'm going to click all three of these things that I just made. So I'm going to click the triangle, the red square, and the text. And I'm going to press Apple G for group. And now this is going to give it a dotted line. That means that all the things in here are glued together. Now I want to make this a button. And I want to make the rollover a little bit bigger, so I'm going to come in here, double click on your button so that you can get inside of it. Inside of the group and working with individual elements instead of the group as a whole. I'm going to click on the red box, click on the word schedule, and I'm going to make this 105% bigger. So now that appears to get bigger when you roll over. And when you click, it goes back. Okay, I'm going to click off of that, click back on, press Apple C and Apple V and make a copy of that. And I'm going to line that copy up with the guide underneath it. And I'm going to do that one more time. Okay, now I just need to get in here and change these to photos. And make sure that you change all of the states here. Okay, and now I just need to set these to go to the correct pages. So schedule is going to go to page 2. Photos is going to go to page 3. And video is going to go to page 4. Okay, and now the next thing that I need to do is put our little Ball State logo down here. So I'm going to make a box for that. And import that logo. The best that we can in this box. Okay, and then I'm going to start building this header up at the top. I'm going to write the word cardinal. This is going to be in Edwardian script. And it's going to be 92 pixels. And I'm going to line this up so that the top touches the margin and the left side touches this part of the guide. And I'm just going to make that text box a little bit smaller so it's out of the way. I also want to make a line, this is the line tool right here, from this left guide to the right guide. And I'm going to make this a 5-pixel line. And it's going far so good. Now I'm going to write the word corner. This is in 62 point Bebas, or 62 pixel Bebas. And this is going to be in 82 point Bebas. And I'm going to line it up underneath the word cardinal. And here's where it gets kind of tricky. I want this, instead of being black, I want it to be red with a gradient, so it looks kind of shiny in 3D. So I'm going to click on the text box, type, create outlines. And what that's going to do is it's going to make it so this isn't text anymore. You'll see if I get my text box, I can't edit it. In fact, I just made another text box. So that's what we want. We're going to click on the gradient tab. If you don't have this, go to Window. And I'm actually just going to pull this out because what I want to do here is I want to grab my swatches and I want this to go from dark red to that RGB red and then back to dark red. And you'll see I have that effect here. Now what's happening is this is linear with the lighter color here in the center, and actually I want the lighter color to go across this way. So I'm going to change the angle to 90. Okay, and our gradient is done, so I'm going to grab this and put it back in this palette. The next thing that I need to do is to drop in that Charlie Cardinal logo. And it's a bit big, so let's reduce the size. Okay, I'm going to move corner over so I have a little bit more room for Charlie. I'm going to line Charlie up with the bottom of the word corner. And now I need to make another line extending across. This is also 5 pixels and it's going to be thick and then thin, so the opposite of the one above it. Okay, I'm going to press W and get an idea of what I'm looking at. And looks like everything on this page is finished. We just need to get some animation going. So I'm going to click W and take a look at everything again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a box that covers all of this. This is not a frame. What I'm doing is I just have this black selection tool here, and I'm drawing a box around all this stuff up here in the corner, and it's now selecting the white background. I'm going to hold Shift and also select this Ball State logo at the bottom, and I'm going to group this with Apple or Command G. And you'll see it came to the front, so I'm going to send that backward, arrange, and you'll see the hotkey for this is Apple and then the bracket, so I'm going to press that to get it behind the last button. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Now I want to start animating the things on here. Whatever you animate first becomes the first thing that moves on the page. So I'm going to click on this bit right here. I want this to move first. I'm going to click on Animation. And I'm going to give this a preset of Fly In from Top. I want it to go to the current location and I want it to fade in. And this is on page load. So you can say whether this happens on a button or rollover. We want it to just happen when the page loads. And so now we want to do that same thing to our button. We want this, however, to move to fly in from left to current location is fine. We want this to fly in from left as well. So let's go ahead and preview this. Okay, and it's doing everything that we want it to do. Now is a good time to save. And you'll want to save this with your materials. Okay, so we're done with page, we're done with page 1. For page 2, you'll want to copy this group and paste into place. But now let's click on and ungroup it. So Object, Ungroup. And let's draw this out to the end of that last column guide. Sometimes objects with effects on them will be a little bit harder to control. You might get some issues like I just had where it's difficult to get it to sort of enlarge or decrease in size. Select them all, and we have the white box selected. I'm going to press Shift and click on the white box so it's not selected. I'm going to create a group, and I'm going to animate this so that it comes in from the top. Now I want to come up to my schedule button. I'm going to copy it and paste in place. But I don't really want this to be a button anymore. There's no reason it needs to be, so I'm going to right click on it. Go to Effects, go to Interactive and convert it to Object. And now it's just a regular object. It's no longer a button. You can see the little button indicator down here is gone, and this is going to fly in. So let's save this and preview. Okay, great. So now we need to place a picture down here at the bottom. We have guidelines that we need to make here. There's a vertical guideline at 120 pixels. And I'm going to line my picture up so that it touches the guide that we made, the bottom margin, this column guide right here, and just keep it away from that schedule a little bit. Okay, we're going to put in the helmets photo. It's a little too big, so let's shrink that up so that we can see more of it. Okay, we're going to press W for a preview. Looks good. Now I need to draw a dotted line in the middle of this column. It's 3 pixels. It's dotted. Actually, let's make it Japanese dots. It's going to look better. And let's give it, instead of black, let's click on the stroke and give it that red. Okay, so far so good. And now let's bring in that text. Now the text should start along this column guide right here. And this is going to be times. It's 18 pixels. And each of these is Beavis and is 30 pixels. Now here's where it gets kind of fun. Instead of typing this over and over again, you can highlight the next one, grab your eyedropper, and then click on what you want it to be like. Oops, missed it. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just move this down a little bit, preview it. This is a little bit high up at the top. It creates this awkward space down here, so we're going to give this a centered justification. That's much better. I'm going to go ahead and press save. And now we're going to make a little navigation bar that's going to slide in and out of the corner here. So draw a box, and this box, I'm going to click on it, come up here. Needs to be 122 pixels. by 66 pixels. And it needs to be this RGB red. And you're going to line it up so that the bottom touches the bottom of the page and the left touches this left margin here. Now I'm going to write the word nav. This is in Bebas, 32 pixels. It's white. And to turn this sideways, I'm going to draw that text box so it's as tall as the box and then just center this. Okay, now I need to create a couple buttons. So to create these buttons, I'm going to draw a box that is, let's make it 40 by 40. Okay, I'm going to take that pen tool that I used earlier, click and hold, and grab the delete anchor point. I'm just going to delete one of these points. And now I have a triangle. So let's make it white. Let's give it 45-degree rotation. And convert it to button. Shoot. I'm going to give the normal state an 80% transparency. Rollover is going to be 100. And the click is going to be 100. Oops, one. And I'm going to give it an inner glow. Not an inner shadow, but an inner glow. Okay, and on press, I want this to go to the next page. Now I'm going to copy this, paste it, flip it, line it up, and give this, see, this is go to next page, this is going to be go to previous page. And then to make sure that these are lined up with each other, I'm going to hold shift and click on both of them, and then in my alignment over here, just click on the align at the top button. This is going to align everything that you have selected at the top. Okay, so now I have my navigation, and what I want to do is draw a box around all of it, press Apple G for group. Now a little piece of my triangle is sticking into my design, so I need to actually move these . Okay, so now none of that triangle's sticking in. So I want to take this group, I want to give it an animation. I want it to fly in from right, or how about move, let's do move left. And this green line is showing us where this is going to move. It's saying that this is going to move all the way to here. And if I hit preview, you'll see that it moves all the way in. Yeah, and we really don't want it all the way in. So I need to give this a couple attributes. I'm going to go back to animation and click on the screen, and it's going to shorten the amount of time, or the amount of space that this moves. And then I'm also going to change it so that it doesn't just move on its own. I'm going to click on it, and in the animation palette, where it says events on page load, I'm going to actually do on click self, and that means when you click it, it'll move. So I'm going to undo it with the on page load. Now I'm going to preview this and see if I got that green line that shows movement to be short enough. Okay, it's still a little bit too long. All right, let's try it now. Okay, much better. All right, I'm going to save. I'm going to copy this navigation. I'm going to copy So I'm holding shift, so I'm going to copy the navigation, I'm going to copy this cardinal corner, Apple C, I'm going to come down to page, and you can see all the animations are intact. It's just a matter of now replacing the elements on the page. So I'm going to change schedule to photos. So we're going to create a box, and it should be 559 pixels wide and 323 pixels tall. And now line that up so that the bottom of it touches that margin. And we just want to center it, and we actually know how it when it's centered because it's giving us, it has a line across it and there's a little X here showing the center of the box. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is 6 columns and this is 6 columns here, so the middle gutter between the 6 columns on the left and the 6 columns on the right is the center of the page. So get that X lined up here in the center of that gutter. And now I'm going to import the slideshow images. Okay, I'm going to copy and then paste in place. And then I'm going to put the next picture in. Paste in place. This is the same as what you did last time. Okay, and then I'm going to click on this white and lock it so that now I can grab all these images here and create a gallery. Okay, and I'm going to send this backward until it goes behind the red bar. Backward because I was clicked on the picture, not the gallery. Okay, now I just need to make controls for this. So I'm going to make a red square that is 50 by 50 pixels and uses this RGB red. I'm actually going to come into my navigation bar and copy one of these buttons. Decrease the size a little. Try and center that nicely in there. And now this button needs to go to the previous state. I'm going to copy this, flip it, and this button now needs to go to the next state. So let's save and preview. And it works just fine. Okay, so now let's move on to page 4. Page 4 is video, not schedule, so we need to change this. And we're going to place a video here, so click on Media. Okay, so I'm just going to place that video somewhere. It's way too big, so I'm going to grab the corner and hold Shift and shrink this down. Oh yeah, sorry. In CS5, if you have a video like this or an element that is like multiple objects grouped together, you can't just hold Shift to make it smaller. You have to hold Command, Option, and Shift. And now I can make this whole thing smaller. So Command, Option, and Shift. Use your left hand to hold all those down and your right hand to control the mouse. And we're going to line this up so that it goes right in the center. This green line is telling us that it's centered. You want to give this skin over play, seek, and full screen. And that's going to create a little play bar down here that lets us pause and seek through the video. So press save. And now let's go ahead and preview this in the browser. Okay, here it is. Okay, so that's backwards. Okay, so I'm getting a little page curl as well, and these things are backwards, so a couple things that I need to edit. In Preview, click on this button and go to Edit Preview Settings and undo include the page curl. So that's going to get rid of that page curl down at the bottom. The other thing that I need to deal with is that these two things are coming in backwards. So I'm going to go to Timing and switch these. So grab one and drag it to the bottom. Preview it and make sure that my change went into effect. It did not. So let's go to Timing. There we go. Now it did. So let's go to the other pages before it and also change that. So Timing. Okay, and let's preview this again in the browser. Okay, everything looks good here. Schedule. No, it's still backwards. Navigation. Okay, so Photos is correct now. And I've lost my animation on the navigation. So switch the timing. Aha, see, it thinks this is on page load. It has no event, so on click self. When we copied and pasted this navigation, the animation just didn't stay with it. Okay, so that one's correct. Preview it again. Okay, and it looks like everything's working. Let's click on that video, make sure it plays. Okay, great. So we're done. We just need to publish this. So we're going to go to File, Export, save it as a Swift file. If this is clicked, interactive page curl, unclick it. You do not want this. You want all pages. We don't need an HTML file. And we'll hit OK. All right, so bring that Swift file to class, and it's also going to generate a folder that ends in the word resources. So I think I can grab that here in Ball State, which is where I had all my stuff. That says Ball State tutorial _ resources, and it's got the video and that little skin that allows you to play the video. So you want to bring this resources file and this Swift file to class with you. And that's it. Let me know if you have any questions. Good luck.